Minnesota? Yeah, sure. We are back at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. #1 team in the country, Georgia, comes here. A lot of buzz. And it's that time. Michael Bratton has arrived.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Been somewhat of a overcast, stormy, rainy night here, but you made it.
Yeah, bringing the storm with me, Paul. How about it?
We had a good day until you showed up. It started raining. Sent everybody home. Where do we begin?
Not a lot of great games to discuss this week, are there?
Let's go over the lineup. We got Alabama playing Chattanooga.
I thought it was Hoover High. It's not Hoover High?
As we used to say back in the business, when those two teams may play, I'll get it right, they throw the record books out.
Yeah. Did you see Saban this week on, I think it was Pat McAfee, basically said style points matter, and it sounded like they were going to have to run up the score to try to impress this committee.
I don't not to disagree with Coach Saban.
I think they might have to, Paul, because they're on the outside looking in.
Don't start that again. I mean, we've had a good day here. We haven't had any decaying dynasty takes.
Mm-hmm. I'll be bringing them back in Atlanta. You better believe it.
You'll be there?
That's if they beat Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Who knows?
Well, they'll be in Atlanta regardless.
Right, but still, I mean, it's a decaying dynasty if you can't beat Hugh Freeze in year one.
You've had a tough year with some of your predictions.
Well,
I don't mean to ruin the party here.
Well, hey, good news for Tennessee then, because I'm picking Georgia tomorrow.
I saw your pick. 42 to what?
Georgia, 45-14. Tennessee.
45-14.
Yeah. I think Georgia's they're getting better at the right time. I think Kirby's got them brainwashed. You see Brock Bowers rushing back. He didn't have to play against Ole Miss. Not only did he play, he started, he scored a touchdown. He's got his team, looking ahead.
I talked to Holly Rowe earlier. She was at the practice last Thursday. And she said, I mean, the guy was running full speed everywhere.
Right. I mean, it's amazing. How can anyone slow him down?
He's only a decoy now. They don't need him.
But Tennessee has won 14 in a row at home, and they play a lot better. They average about close to 40 points per game in Neyland Stadium.
I've heard from a lot of writers here today and people that they still maintain Tennessee is ascendant with Josh Heupel. What about you?
Well, if 8-4 is a bad year, I mean, for the last 2 decades, that would have been a great year on Tennessee. So, you could spin it either way. I think the Florida game and the Missouri game were awful for Heupel. I think that was certainly a speed bump after last season winning 11 games. But, the expectations, the bar has been raised, Paul, and I don't think they've met the expectations this year. Now, that they changed the narrative completely if they can beat Georgia tomorrow, though.
That would be pretty significant.
I think that'd be bigger than Alabama last year, beating Alabama.
Really?
I do. I mean, Nick Saban couldn't win in there. I got faith in Kirby Smart, though, to win in Neyland Stadium.
Nick Saban couldn't win in there. Talking to Brad, I mentioned we're going to take your phone calls in a minute. I'm just looking at the line. Don't really see anybody there that can handle you.
Well, or we could talk Billy Napier and the job he's doing at Florida. This could be the last time he ever goes to a Columbia, Paul. Going up here at Missouri.
I mean, do you really think change is in the air down there?
If they keep losing, and they keep losing all these recruits.
They only have 2 games left, so.
Right. I mean, I think they've only lost 3 recruits last week. Let's see how many they lose after they get smashed by Missouri and Florida State. They lose a couple more. I think his seat could really start to heat up.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly. I mean, the jobs that we're watching very closely are that job and Sam Pittman's job.
Right.
That one's hard to talk about for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know Napier, but it's not like you can. I mean, Pittman I really was impressed with.
Yeah, certainly. I root hard for Sam Pittman, but at the same time, I mean, the results are what they are, Paul, and particularly at home, losing to BYU last year, lost to Hugh Freeze when he was at Liberty. Now that's continued to this year, losing to Auburn. Not only losing to Auburn, but the fashion they lost it in. It's just hard to sit here and make the case for why he should be back.
You cut right to the chase, don't you? They used to tell me back in the day, man, you don't sugarcoat it.
Right.
They don't tell me that anymore.
Well, I mean, just think about if they bring him back. I mean, he's going to have to overhaul the entire staff. Maybe I'd ask KJ Jefferson what he wants, because if they don't have him next year, they don't have a prayer. So I don't know. I
talked to somebody here earlier. I think it was Chris Lowe. He said he talked to Jimbo briefly this week. He's up at his ranch.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
What do you do when you get fired? I mean, people start texting you. I mean, we've all been fired, right?
Oh, yeah. I didn't get $77 million to go away, though.
I mean, if I got fired, I'd be wondering, how I'm going to, buy milk and groceries. Jimbo, he doesn't care, does he?
I don't think he does, and I think he didn't care the last couple of years, Paul. And I think that's why he's at home at the ranch right now. So I even asked, should Arkansas hire Jimbo Fisher? And I said, yeah, if they want to regress even more than they have under Sam Pittman. Because I take Sam Pittman over Jimbo Fisher with all that talent he had, and he squandered. I mean, he lost every toss-up game. And, I mean, could he work for Nick Saban? Could he be one of these analysts, coffee grabber guys, wash the car like Butch Jones?
The Butch Jones chair?
I mean, I think that's Jimbo's only.
Has Butch Jones gotten fired yet? Every time I used to come up here, that was the question. What happened to? I mean, Butch is about to get fired again, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure he is, Paul. I don't know where he's at, but I'm sure they're failing miserably.
He's working at. He's at Arkansas State. He's working at retail at Target, and he's going to get fired.
What's the buyout at Target, Paul? Any idea?
Butch Jones is in the sporting goods department at Target, and he just got fired.
I don't know if he's qualified for that, to be honest with you. But.
We'll take a break. We're going to get your phone calls for Michael Bratton right after this. Well, we got some basketball coming up. Florida State and Florida. They meet tonight on the basketball court. Next week on the gridiron. We're 16 minutes away. Let's get back to the calls, and this ought to be good. Taco calling for Michael Bratton.
Yes, Paul. How are y'all doing this evening?
We're doing great. Thank you for asking.
I got to ask Michael Bratton. Is he kin to Darryl from Georgia?
No, I am not.
I think y'all kind of look alike, I believe, Michael.
Now, hold on.
I think y'all are both on the
hold on a second, Taco.
Hold on.
Do you know what Darryl looks like?
I don't know.
Darryl looks like, and Darryl looks like Charles Manson.
So it's not a compliment.
Kid you not.
You are right.
Charles Manson, one of the. I mean, everybody's seen the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, haven't we?
Yep.
I mean, that was Charles. That was the guy who killed all those people. That's what the guy said you look like.
I had to wonder if Darryl was like the biggest Bama hater, and then now Michael kind of took the reins of the thing. So it's either got to be kin to him or Nick Saban pays him all this rat poison to make his guys play better.
I'll gladly accept a championship ring if they ever win one again.
Hey, Taco, thanks for the call. Let's go to Rick next in Florida for Michael Bratton.
Hey, fellas. Happy Thanksgiving coming up. I hope y'all have a safe holiday. Hey, Michael. I've been telling my buddy, you're welcome. I've been telling my buddies I've been a Gator fan since the Wayne Peace days. So, Paul, it tells you I was in the long suffering before Spurrier came along. So, it's unacceptable to lose all these rivalry games that Napier's losing. And I'm telling my buddies, if we get our butts handed to us tomorrow and Florida State comes in and rolls us next week, Napier isn't going to be the coach next year. We're not going to keep losing these rivalry games and now we're getting it handed to us by Kentucky of all teams. And I just wanted to get your opinion because, Paul, you know how long that is, Wayne Peace Days. And I'll hang up and listen to your response, and God bless you guys, and thank you.
Hey, thank you very much. Tyler is up next.
Hey, Paul, Roll Tide. How's it going?
We're doing great. I hope you have I hope you're not going to let Bratton get away with all this hate for Saban.
Man, he is such a hater, ain't he? Good Lord. Man, he kind of makes me mad a little bit.
He makes me mad a lot as a Sabanite.
Yes, me too. Well, my question, I heard earlier they were talking about Dan Lanning waiting on Alabama, like or Saban to retire, and he'd probably be our next head coach. What do you think
about
Deion?
What about Deion for
no, I did not.
What about Deion? Deion's lost. I mean, I don't remember the last time Deion won a game. Do you?
No. He's not won a meaningful game in a couple months.
Hey, Tyler, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. Cooper is up next in Knoxville. Hey, Cooper, go right ahead.
Hey, how are you, Paul? What's up, Michael? I had a question for you, man. It's a tough one. I know we already spoke about Dolly yesterday, but she's got 4 years eligibility. What position do you think she'd play at Tennessee?
Be careful, Michael. It's a family show.
Probably defensive back. They need help at defensive back pretty bad.
She would be distracting.
Yeah, I think we all would.
Just go right over the top.
I don't know what uniform she'd be wearing, but I'm sure it'd be a nice one.
I think it's great that, how old is Dolly? 77?
She looks amazing.
I mean, I think it's pretty great that a woman that age, starting to look pretty good, is...
Yeah, I agree.
Joe is in Kentucky, and you're on with Michael Bratton.
Hey, how you guys doing this evening? Hey, one name that's not been mentioned. I want to get you two guys' opinions on it. Bob Stoops.
It's not going to be mentioned here either, so we're going to move on. Hey, is AJ still here? AJ, you're on with Brad.
Hey, Brad.
Hey, what's up?
Finally glad. I'm your biggest fan. I think I might be your only fan from the sound of things. But
hold on.
I got a question.
Hold on, AJ. Are there any Bratton fans here? No. You're right, AJ. You're the only fan.
I'm the biggest one. I promise. I like the way you think. Great.
I appreciate you.
Great takes.
This is thinking. That's what you do.
Hey, one question for you though. Do you think next week at Jordan-Hare that Alabama will wet the proverbial bed?
Ooh, I hate to hear talk like that on a family show.
I certainly think it's possible, but year one, Hugh Freeze.
I mean, this is not a Brian Harsin almost beat Saban 2 years ago.
That's true. No, I think Alabama's good enough to squeak by Auburn.
Well,
Auburn fans ever forgive Tank Bigsby for running out of bounds?
I'll have to disagree on that because I believe that they will. And one thing about it, though, Brad, when they do wet the bed, they can all wake up the next morning. They can drive and go. They can go out to Paul Finebaum's house and use his bidet to clean up their mess.
I do not have a bidet. I do not. I used to. House in Birmingham had one. I walked in when they were showing. I said, "What is that?"
Is that a drinking fountain?
I didn't know what it was. Jim is up next in California for Michael J. Bratton.
Hey, Paul, this is Jim, originally from Georgia, but got a question for both of you. It's a little off topic. I've spent my entire morning defending your honor against Michigan fans.
Thank you
very much. I don't know if you know
Jim.
it or not, Paul. Yeah, I don't know if you know it or not, but you're in every chat room you can name from Mississippi to Oregon.
Well, Jim, let me say this to you. First of all, I have never met a bigger bunch of losers in my life than the University of Michigan football fans. I mean, seriously. I thought I had seen them earlier in my career, but I've never seen anything quite like this.
Yeah,
Paul, I've been watching you.
Loser in the playoffs,
I've been watching you for years and listening to you for years, and I had to read comments all morning. Paul Finebaum should have been off TV 20 years ago, or Paul Finebaum has no business running his mouth. And I said, that's why you're in the comment section and Paul Finebaum's on TV. I'm so sick of defending your honor today, Paul, and I think you need to stand up for yourself.
Let me give you a little bit of advice. I appreciate it. But that's what happens when you tell the truth. And, I mean, this is a program, you've heard me say this, that has won 1.5 national championships in 70 years. Georgia won one in the last 5 minutes.
They're about as cool as Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it's and I'm only glad that I'm going to Auburn next week and not Ann Arbor, because I've never gone to a football stadium, well, maybe one or two, that I didn't feel safe.
I just couldn't imagine
there's a lot of people
on the Big Ten all season long, just for them to just get humiliated in the playoff annually. That's got to be tough.
I mean, I don't think I've ever rooted for Harbaugh in a game, but I am rooting for him in the Ohio State game.
Is that right?
I want to, because I want to see Kirby Smart make mincemeat out of that program. Wouldn't that be? I mean, they already did 2 years ago.
Right, but are we sure Harbaugh would even show up? He may be suspended for that one too.
No, he's clear. Okay. Because Michigan,
something new could come up. Between now and then.
Well, it's not. The Big Ten. The Big Ten. I mean, that case was dismissed with prejudice, which I always thought that meant that it was in favor, but that means it's done. Not coming back. There's no return.
Kind of like Michigan football.
Michael Bratton, the final couple. By the way, for the record, Larry would not face you tonight.
I'm not surprised, Paul. Not surprised at all. He seems not capable to the challenge.
He called earlier, and he did his Ric Flair imitation, talking about another guy that's had a rough week. Well, Michael, we always love having. I guess you're not going to be at Auburn next week, so we won't see you.
I don't think I'm wanted in that state.
No, but we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Alabama, Georgia. We are done for this program. Let's hear it. All the Michael Bratton fans. Both of you.
The Paul Finebaum Show is presented by Johnsonville.